All right, let's get right into it. There's a serious IT crisis brewing in our public schools and local governments, and it's something we all need to pay attention to. A new report from a Colorado-based research group, Virtualization Options LLC, just laid out how big this problem really is. So, let's break it down.
So, the report calls this a perfect storm, and honestly, that's the perfect way to describe it. It's not just one thing, It's this nasty mix of budget cuts happening year after year, technology that's getting older and older, and all of us needing more digital services than ever before. This isn't just some tech issue. It's a real threat to the essential services we all count on. And when you see the numbers, it really hits home. Just think about this. Over the past 3 years, state and local governments have had to slash their IT budgets by an average of 23%. That's a huge cut.
And if you think that's bad, take a look at our schools. A whopping 67%, that's 2/3, of K-12 districts are dealing with major tech budget problems.
So what's the fallout from all this? Well, critical projects, they just get put on the back burner. And all those postponed projects add up to an estimated $2.4 billion technology debt across the country. That's a massive hole to dig out of. And this crisis doesn't hit everyone equally. It's the rural communities that are getting hit the hardest. Get this, a staggering 89% of rural districts are feeling the most severe cuts. It's a huge disparity.
Okay, so we've seen these big, scary numbers. But these aren't just figures on a page, right? They have real, everyday consequences, what the report calls hidden costs that ripple out and affect all of us.
And this is really the heart of the problem. Trying to save a few bucks today by cutting the IT budget, it ends up costing so much more down the road. We're talking about more system outages, huge security risks. Think about student data. We're also seeing wider achievement gaps for kids. And for staff, their productivity plummets, and you can forget about attracting the best people to come work there. It's just a classic vicious cycle. Now, it all sounds pretty bleak, I know. But here's the good news. The report doesn't just point out the problems. It actually offers a path forward. It suggests we can reframe this whole crisis as an opportunity by looking at a modern alternative: strategic IT partnerships.
So let's look at this tale of two strategies. The old way, the traditional way, means you've got these massive upfront costs to buy all the tech, and it puts all the burden and all the risk right on your internal team, who are already stretched thin. But the partnership model, it completely flips that script. Your costs become predictable monthly expenses. You suddenly get access to top-tier experts. You share the risk instead of owning it all, and you can scale up or down whenever you need to. It's a totally different mindset. You're not buying tech anymore, you're consuming IT as a service.
Okay, so if this partnership thing is so great, you're probably wondering, why isn't everybody just doing it? Well, the truth is, making a big change is really hard, especially when you're kind of locked into what you already have. The report has a great name for these obstacles: exit barriers.
So what exactly are exit barriers? The best way to think of them is like handcuffs. They can be contractual, they can be technical, they can be financial, but they all do the same thing. They lock you into a relationship with your current provider, even if it's not working for you anymore. It can make switching feel totally impossible.
And these barriers can look like a lot of different things. Maybe it's a multi-year contract with insane penalties if you try to leave early. Or maybe it's proprietary software that makes it a nightmare to get your own data out. And then there are all the hidden costs, like having to retrain your entire staff on a new system. It's no wonder so many organizations just stay put.
But here's the thing. It's not impossible. The secret is just to understand the process. The report does a great job of breaking down the whole procurement cycle into 5 pretty straightforward steps. You start by figuring out what you actually need. Then you get the budget approved, you go through procurement, you do the technical evaluation, and boom, you make your final pick. When you see it laid out like this, it feels a lot less intimidating, doesn't it?
And this next part is a total pro tip for anyone who's trying to make this change happen in their organization. You have to know who you're talking to. This little stakeholder cheat sheet is absolute gold. Your superintendent, they're thinking about educational outcomes for students. Your IT director, they're worried about reliability and technical headaches. The school board, they've got their eye on the bottom line. If you want to get everyone to say yes, you got to show each of them how this new approach solves their biggest problem. All right, let's shift gears a bit and circle back to those rural communities we talked about earlier. Remember, they're facing the biggest challenges, but there's some really cool innovation happening that's specifically designed to help them. For so long, that digital divide in rural areas just felt like a problem with no solution.
But now, the report points to this next-generation low Earth orbit, or LEO satellite technology, and honestly, it's a complete game-changer. This is not that slow, laggy satellite internet from back in the day. We're talking high-speed, responsive broadband that can truly level the playing field for remote schools and towns.
It's an amazing solution, for sure, but districts have to go into it with their eyes wide open. You have to think about what kind of performance to expect. We're talking somewhere in the 50 to 200 megabits per second range. You have to understand the cost, the setup fees, and how things like bad weather might affect the signal. It's all about making a smart, informed choice.
And here's another piece of powerful tech for rural areas: edge computing. The whole idea is simple, but it's kind of brilliant. Instead of sending every single piece of data on a long trip to a data center in the cloud, you process it right there, locally. You're basically bringing the power of a data center right into the school building.
And the impact is, well, it's huge. Just look at these numbers. By processing data on site, you can slash your bandwidth needs by 75%. That's a massive cost saving. You can improve uptime by 90% because you're not totally reliant on that sometimes spotty internet connection. And for the people actually using the computers, a 60% faster response time means everything just works, fast and smooth.
Okay, so we've looked at the crisis, the modern solution, the roadblocks, and even some cool new tech for rural areas. Let's pull it all together now and talk about a clear plan of action. So, this report from Virtualization Options LLC really boils it all down to 5 key recommendations for your next move. First, take a hard look at your current provider. Second, when you make a new deal, negotiate contracts that are flexible and built for the future. Third, team up with other districts in your region to get more buying power. Fourth, invest in tech that's actually designed for rural challenges. And finally, and this is so important, make a plan for continuous improvement. This isn't a one-time fix, it's an ongoing process.
And that really leaves us with one final crucial question to think about. I want you to take a look at your own community, your school, your town, your county. Is its IT strategy built for the past, or is it truly ready for the future? Because the answer to that question is going to shape your community's success for years to come. Thanks for joining me.